Both single, no kids.
Got it?
The revival of NBC's Will and Grace aired its season finale Thursday and brought happy news for everyone, except TV's favourite dysfunctional friends. If you haven't watched Thursday's episode yet, avert your eyes because there are spoilers ahead for the season finale. The first season of the revival, which has already been renewed for 2 more seasons, saw Will and Grace contemplating the idea of becoming step-siblings after their widowed parents, played by Blythe Danner and Robert Klein, announced their quickie engagement. Wedding bells also appear to be on the horizon for Jack, who accepted his new boyfriend's proposal after a whirlwind trip to Ibiza. Both of the newly engaged couples told Will and Grace, rather harshly, that their engagements were motivated by the desire to not turn out like Will and Grace, alone and in what they believe to be an unhealthy relationship. The episode leaves Will and Grace questioning themselves, each other, and the decisions they have made to get them to this point. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter's Jackie Strauss, Will and Grace creators and showrunners David Kohan and Max Mutchnick reveal that anything is on the table when it comes to the starring pair's dynamic when the show returns. It's all thrown into question, says Kohan. When it comes to how the current season wrapped up, David Kohan explains that the concept first started when they wanted to pay tribute to the late Debbie Reynolds, who had played Grace's mum, Bobby. Says Kohan, from there, it evolved into a conversation about how Will's father is no longer with us, Sidney Pollack, the actor who played him, is no longer with us, and at some point, we wanted to acknowledge that as well. Then we said, hey, they're single, and Will and Grace are too close and in a relationship that they've often referred to as incestual. What happens if we literally make it that? When asked about the title character's existential crisis in the finale, Mutchnick reveals that the showrunners frequently write themselves into a corner that they then have to write themselves back out of. And he offers this analysis of the on-screen best friends. The relationship between Will and Grace is fraught and problematic on paper, but it works for them in practice. As they get older, I think they have to figure out more involved, complicated ways to justify why they continue to spend their lives with each other. Kohan adds, but it also seems at the point where you are middle-aged and thinking, I want to do something, I want to leave my mark. If I'm not going to have kids, what am I going to do? It can't just be inertia that takes me through the next 30 years. I need to make some kind of move here in my life, and it has to happen soon. So that's where they are. Fans of Robert Klein, who plays Grace's dad, Blythe Danner, who plays Will's mum, and Brian Jordan Alvarez, who plays Jack's now fiancé Esteban, will be happy to know that the actors will be returning in some form next season, whether or not the couples make it down the aisle. Says Mutchnick, we always want these characters to live on. Once they're on the show and when they fit in as well as they do, we hope to see these people over and over again because we feel like the audience likes it as much as we do. So, what did the showrunners learn from making the first season of their rebooted show? Quips Mutchnick, well, last week we learned that if we fully support Trump, we will get 18 million viewers to watch the show. He is of course referring to the staggering rating success of ABC's Roseanne revival, which has highlighted Roseanne Connor's support of the president. But overall, he says, I think the lesson is always the same. The shows that are the most entertaining and the most relatable are the most satisfying on every level. When it comes to whether they will continue to rip from the headlines and be as political in upcoming seasons, Kohan says that it depends. We really do ask ourselves the question, how would the characters respond to this, he explains. That is the question that we put first. If it would have impact on these people, then yes, we will tackle it. And back on the topic of that Roseanne reboot, do the Will and Grace showrunners think there is room for all of the revivals on TV, and do they see it as a bit of healthy competition? The short answer is yes, says Mutchnick. I think the more the better, he muses. If there are more sitcoms out there that are doing well, that audiences are watching on network television, that's only good for us. I don't think that we should have any problem with anybody else doing well. The more the merrier. To read Jackie Strauss's full interview with David Kohan and Max Mutchnick, head to THR.com and tell us, did you watch the season finale of Will and Grace? How do you feel about the idea of them potentially becoming step-siblings? And what storylines would you like to see explored in the next season? Let us know in the comments. For The Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Lindsay Rodriguez.